The power of the purple worked. Nancy turned red, and you're getting some second stimulus checks. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evenings at LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. This is our evening program, which tonight has an addition to it. I'll be doing the checks, this video. Then I'll be doing another special update on Hurricane Laura as it tracks into Texas and Louisiana. And then after that, EIDL. Hope you're good and safe. Great, exciting news about movement and progress. You're getting second stimulus checks under a second stimulus package, which will resume negotiations and get finalized in September. After having our feet dragged over the coals in the month of August, which hasn't gone well. Great news, exciting news that you're finally getting second stimulus checks as the parties are getting back to negotiation in September. A lot of developments have unfolded since I broke this shocking development earlier today. Everyone was so happy, as I was for you, as Mark Meadows has really sort of ramped up the heat, perhaps because of the purple power, calling up Nancy Pelosi, going over to Nancy Pelosi, knocking on the door, texting her chief of staff, really hounding her, not just one time, multiple times. He detailed them in the report I did earlier today, and that worked. I mean, that was a version of what the purple power was calling for. Get on Nancy's ass, get her to negotiate, get her back in the room. Don't just knock on her door one time and leave, which would happen to Mark Meadows on Sunday. He went to her office, she didn't answer the door, so he has hounded her. And remember, he's hounding her during a Republican convention that's out of town in many regards. He's, hounding her when there's a lot of other stuff going on. He's doing this. And she has finally succumbed and said, hey, yeah, we'll negotiate, and we'll get it done. Mark Meadows, on what I detailed earlier today, said that, hey, what's going to happen is that the senators return back into town September 8th. The representatives will return about September 15th, and there has to be a balanced budget done by September 30th, which ironically is incredibly great news because the budget needs to be balanced by both the House and the Senate. And that in balancing the budget, you ensure that the government does not shut down on September 30th, which is the deadline. And Meadows reported the opposite of what I had worried about, that Nancy Pelosi was using the shutdown deadline to not get a stimulus package approved. Meadows says she's doing the absolute reverse, that she's using the short time frame and the importance of getting the bill to balance the budget done as a way to get her demands for second stimulus approved. Really, really great news. There's a lot of other stuff that has developed even since my breaking report earlier today. First, I'm going to interpret this as good news to great news. Other Democrats are really having a big problem with Nancy Pelosi, so I'm going to call this great news. Carolyn Maloney. Remember Carolyn Maloney with the baloney bill, the postal bill? She's been denouncing Nancy Pelosi all day long. I mean, I have the interview. Guess who's also denouncing Nancy Pelosi? Chuck Schumer. I mean, I think the purple power is a little bit more powerful than we thought. It's not regarding stimulus, but it's regarding something else. It's regarding this race for a seat in the House with a Representative Joe Kennedy and Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey. What's going on is that Senator Pelosi has endorsed Kennedy over a more liberal incumbent. Now, this is a little shocking. She's endorsing someone who is running against someone who already has a seat. And of course, they're both Democrats. Well, who has come out and denounced her today? Carolyn Maloney, Chuck Schumer, AOC. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. They call this absolutely horrific what Pelosi did. And they are not happy they called reeks of hypocrisy. One group called the Justice Democrats and another group that's pro-AOC said they have never seen anything in the history of, the Senate or the House with a House leader endorsing someone that is not the incumbent. Now, here is more great news. More great news is that apparently the president, and this is also just since this afternoon, this is just since in the last 2 hours, so I have a lot of great news for you tonight. The president reportedly is ramping up to do second stimulus package executive orders, says, not gossip mongers, but Mark Meadows. Yes. So remember how I was talking about earlier today that Meadows said I spoke to American, United, and Delta regarding what's going on with them? Well, later in that interview and later this afternoon, Meadows said that he has spoken to the president and that the president is prepared to take executive action to protect American citizens and help airline workers. What the hell's going on? I mean, this is really juicy. What's going on is that there's a lot of things that are percolating in the second stimulus package in addition to checks. Meadows says your checks are going to go out right away. Meadows says the president wants your checks to go out away. Meadows says the president's going to do everything he can to do by executive order. But a lot of the stuff we haven't heard until stuff like this right now, which is under the first stimulus package, the airlines got enormous bailouts to keep you on staff, to keep you as workers, to keep you salaried. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. What did they do? They took the money and fired you. So now, after receiving $25 billion under the first stimulus package, the president, the airlines, the president is now threatening them to bring all those workers back or give them money back. It's really quite serious. I spoke to American, and all three of them said they want to keep the employers with the employees not being furloughed or laid back is a good thing. Meadows is saying that the president wants to order it back. We're looking at executive action. I think everybody near that time we're going to start doing executive action if they don't believe me. Boy, he's basically saying, you don't play games with me, I'm going to do executive actions. We've got 4 executive actions the president actually took. We're going to take a few others. We're going to do a few other executive actions. Stimulus checks. If Congress is not going to work, this president is going to get to work to solve some problems. So hopefully we can get out the airlines and keep some of these employees from being furloughed. Boy. Now, how is the Purple Power working to really ramp up and ensure your stimulus checks are going out in September? Well, it's become a little bit of a double-edged sword. It's people dealing with the Democrats and people dealing with the Republicans. And one of the ways that's dealing with the Republicans is that news supporters are just having a cow with the Mitch Skinny bill. What's going on with that Mitch Skinny bill? Well, remember Mitch Onse, that bill that's always threatens it's going to go on tour, but no one buys the tickets? It debuted as a draft last week. Didn't have stimulus checks in it, had a lot of crap in there, and apparently you and everyone else has said, this is crap, we don't like it. Apparently they went back and revised the skinny bill. The current version of the skinny bill has, get ready for some more good news, allegedly the FPUC extension at $400 a week. Every week they're going up higher. I told you on the broadcast earlier today, I said, no way, no how is anyone going to give them a deal, the Republicans, at $300 a week of FPUC. I told you they're going to come into $400. Nancy's going to have to come down to $550. It's going to come out at $400 to $500. I've always said $400 to $500 or $400 to $600. I said it for nearly, what, 4 weeks? I told you there was a Republican offer from Steve Mnuchin for $400 for FPUC. Well, the new draft of the skinny bill, which again is a draft, it's not a bill, is calling for $400 FPUC extension. And it's only Wednesday. Give it to Friday. It'll be at $450, and the next Sunday it'll be $475. Told you. I mean, it's all great news. Checks, higher FPUC, eviction moratorium. I mean, you see in the comments by Meadows, the president's going to take care of all this stuff. If the House doesn't and the Senate doesn't take care of this, he's going to do an executive order for evictions. He's going to do an executive order for the standalone bills of the purple people. I mean, these things are just sort of snowballing very quickly. There's a gossip thing out there. I gotta tell you, we all love a little bit of gossip. There's a gossip thing out there, and I want to tell you, I want you to digest and drop in the comments, tell me what you think. There's a gossip out there that Biden is going to endorse Kamala Harris's $2,000 checks every month for 6 months or until the pandemic improves bill. Do you notice that since Kamala Harris was touted but not picked as VP running mate, she has never talked about stimulus check bill, about anyone's stimulus check bill. In fact, I saw an article published just minutes ago that said nowhere since the month of June has Kamala Harris ever talked about her own stimulus check bill, the one that's $2,000 for 6 months. And no time has Joe Biden ever given us a number what his stimulus package bill is. Well, that's the gossip. The gossip is that they're going to ramp it up on their side, the Democrats, and say, hey, we want more stimulus, to get the Republicans to ramp it up more on their side to give more stimulus. Take it for whatever you want. Across the board, what else is going on? Well, the focus apparently now for the stimulus checks is a series of few things. So first, let's go over the amounts, the time of delivery, who would get it, and the non-filer filing, which I got to do with you. First of all, $1,200 second stimulus checks. Individuals, married couple, $2,400. Dependents, all indications suggest that dependents will get $1,200. No one's going to really agree to that Republican $500 thing. It doesn't cost much more to go to $1,200, so that's really the great news. Likely that not taken out for child support. The Democrats do not want to take out for child support, so that's likely what's going to happen. And finally, it looks like it'll probably be a family of 5, not a family of 4, which is what the president had suggested in one of the tweets. There's no real reason why it's to say it's a family of 4 versus a family of 5. When would you get it? There's all indications that this would be part of the package. You know, over the last 7 days, there's a lot of talk of things being ramped up and escalated on an escalated basis. It appears now that all this will get finalized in September, and that 10 days thereafter, it'll be routed out to you from the IRS in the manner in which you receive your benefits. You're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. So 10 days. Really, really, really fast. Great news. I mean, it's not great news for a lot of people that needed these checks in July. I got it. And not great news when we wanted these checks in August. Not great news. I understand that. But great news that they would finally come, for God's sakes. It's just, ridiculous at this point. Next, if you've not done a non-filer filing, please think of whether or not you need to do it. This channel today is at, what are we at? 217,000 followers. I don't think I've done a video on non-filer filing since we're like at 150,000. So I think, okay. So maybe 100,000 viewers I've not done this video for. So I want to go over it very, very quickly with you. If these are the two types of people have to do a non-filer filing. So when you're done watching this video and you watch the next 2 videos for the hurricane coverage and EIDL, then go do a non-filer filing, these 2 people. First, if you have a child and you're on benefits like SSDI, SSI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and you have a child and you don't file tax returns, that child you need to get a non-filer filing on for that child. The IRS simply doesn't know where the child exists. If you're on benefits, the child is not on benefits, you don't file tax returns, and he doesn't file tax returns. There's no way for the IRS to know that child exists. So you need to go to the IRS's website and do a non-filer filing for that child right now. Next, if you newly got on benefits this year, and you're dependent on someone else's tax return, you don't file taxes, you need to do non-filer filing as well. IRS guidance in the first stimulus package said that if you were if you had just started benefits for SSDI, SSI, Social Security, Railroad benefits this year, had never really filed taxes, weren't on someone else's tax return, you were basically an unknown person for purposes of the IRS until this year. Newly went on benefits this year, they said do a non-filer filing. If you've done a non-filer filing, I get this question all the time. Hey, Elaine, and it's like, I answered that just a second ago. If you've done a non-filer filing before, you don't have to do it again, provided it covered everyone you had to cover. And it's as simple as that. You don't want to wait for this until September 15th and the bills pass on September 16th. I want to tell you, I always tell people, do things ahead of time. Do things ahead of time. I told, if you watch the hazard pay video today, I told you to start doing the calculation for hazard pay because these bills are going to get approved pretty soon. So don't sit around and wait. It's exciting news. People are asking me what's going on this week with stimulus checks. Probably because those channels will do this and this and this. Those stimulus checks that are going out this week are not second stimulus checks. They're first stimulus checks, generally for dependents who IRS couldn't find or couldn't locate or now have found. So these are $500 dependent stimulus checks for minor dependents that were owed stimulus checks on the first time around. They're not second stimulus checks. Let me respond to a couple of confusing things that are out there. One, there was no stimulus package approved over the weekend. That was a UPS bill. So some people are calling that a stimulus package. It's not a stimulus package. Two, the numbers of FPUC and LWA that are out there, like $300 a week for LWA, that's not a stimulus check. That's unemployment benefits. So if you hear someone saying, oh, there's a new stimulus check for $900, no. Someone's taking LWA, which is $300 a week, times it by 3 weeks and telling you it's a check. It's not a stimulus check. It's unemployment benefits. Next, there is no skinny bill from the Republicans yet. There could be. I mean, we have seen drafts of it, but there is none yet. Third, and I've said this before, but I just always have to repeat it. Nancy, Steve, Chuck, and Larry and Curly can agree to a stimulus package without Congress in session in town. And this is the High Fox News part of the broadcast. So if Steve and Nancy and Larry and Curly and Mo get in the room and agree upon stimulus checks, FPUC, red eviction moratorium, then what happens is the president orders everyone back into town, House and Senate, to vote on it for 24 hours, and they do it, and they're done. And I'm going to say, the president will order them back into town. It's very clear from Mark Meadows now that the president is sick of this, as much as you and I are sick of it. He's going to order them back into town, whether or not Nancy and Kentucky Fried Chicken agreed to do it, and he's going to order them back into town because he has a constitutional authority to do so. Boy, finally, just, oh my goodness. Finally, I want you to understand that you really have to stay with the purple power pressure on your elected officials and Nancy. I don't want you to just sit back and just sort of become donut guy on me, because this is, this is very fluid. I mean, until you have the check in your hand, and some people say, I'll wait till I have the check in my hand. Until you have your check in your hand, you need to ramp up the pressure. So do me a couple things. First, go to this video and hit the like button. It helps the algorithm, and it really helped today. So thank you so much. Hit the like button on this video. Next, go to the Fun channel, hit the subscribe and alert button. So you're subscribed when I drop any news. So I'm always having people send me information about grants, free money, food programs, anything I hear, and I will drop in what's called the community of this channel. There's always someone who says to me, oh, Bubba, my 2000s of the one subscriber, hey, I'm like, Bubba, what's wrong? Oh, well, I was looking at that thing you did. Where's the video? I'm like, there's no video with the community. I just type something like, Hurricane Laura is approaching Texas. Like, where's the video? I'm like, there's no video. So needless to say, some people like Bubba ask me, where's the video? There's no video for it. It's very, very easy for me to communicate with you. It's also really easy for me to see your comments back about something that's very important. And finally, coming up next is Hurricane Laura. We have big updates tonight. This is our evening update on the tracking of the major storm, Category 4. Please watch this video because I have an enormous number of viewers in Texas, an enormous number of viewers in Louisiana and West and East Florida around the coast. So please keep their wishes in my hearts with you and them. And let's stay on top of the story. And then after that, EIDL. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay smiling, and stay of LA for more.